Welcome to Driven Life TV. Welcome to another video. Thank you so much for tuning in today and for taking time to watch today's video. So today I would like to react to a clip of an interview that Patrick Bet-David did with Terrence Howard. He's actually an actor. There are certain things that he mentioned that I think I would like to talk about, especially things pertaining to the movie industry right now and what it is promoting. At the same time, also how childhood trauma can actually follow a person into old age. I want to talk about that because I believe that there is healing for some people who have actually gone through some tough things. So I would like us to highlight, and also if maybe you have younger siblings and also kids, you can also look at a few things and say, okay, maybe I need to make some adjustments in the way I'm looking after these people, because there are so many things and so many instruments that the enemy is using to actually expose kids to some things at a very young age so that they can become broken as adults. So that's what I want us to focus on today. I want us to really react. I'll let it play for most of the time, but I'll be doing some commentary here and there. Please bear with me. Stay up to the end. I know it may be a bit long, but this is going to be worth your time, believe me. Let's look at this.
And I swear to God, if I see the actor Joffrey anywhere, I'm going to be like, this guy.
And make sure you subscribe to the channel. So I really appreciate the support, man.
We're watching Game of Thrones. And I swear to God, if I see the actor Joffrey anywhere, I'm going to be like, this guy. Like, you literally watch it. You're like, what a piece of, you watch The Mom, you watch some movies.
Yeah, the Game of Thrones messed me up, and I think it messed up a lot of the world because it got everybody into incest porn, because people started watching it. And how many people turned off the TV when Jamie and Cersei's hooked up? Or how many people got quiet and watched it? That was the incest that was pushed inside of Game of Thrones and the House of Dragons. It's almost being normalized in a sense. But I bet you incest porn went up from Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. It's presented for 7-8 years in front of you. Now it's normal.
I got a Manek the other day, and he sends me a Manek.
The things that they're talking about right now is some of the series that have actually won so many awards, and people actually laud them to be some of the best series. What he's talking about is some of the agendas that are behind these things, how they're promoting so much vice, so many things that are not good for society. You understand what I'm saying? They're promoting these things and people are literally digesting them. They're receiving them, taking them in. The thing is, there's so much incest in these movies. They're promoting cheating, incest, and all form of vile sexual entanglements. But actually they're happening and people are watching them. They're becoming desensitized from them. And then at the same time, you find that most people, when they watch such movies, the sex scenes are so explicit. And so they go ahead and even start to watch porn afterwards. I think what is actually bringing up is something that we need to really think about. Because most of us just keep on talking about series like this is the best series, this is something that everyone should watch. But at the end of the day, some of these things are not promoting Christian ideals, are not promoting ideals that are actually constructive for society, if you know what I'm talking about. Let's continue to look at this.
First, and then I'm like, hey, he says, hey, you got to talk about porn on Grok. I say, yeah, we'll talk about it. He says, no, I don't think you understand. This is serious. You have to talk about the challenges of porn on Grok. I said, we will. And he keeps Manekting back. And this is like 6 or 7 Maneks later. And then he finally says, listen, let me tell you why you have to talk about it. I'm addicted to it. I don't know how to let it go. I said, what do you mean? He says, Grok porn allows you to pick and choose whatever fantasy you want. And it says you can ask for a 19-year-old girl doing this to this person in this position and that position and this. And I think it's horrible. I'm addicted. I can't let go of it. I don't know what to do. And he's sending me a message like this, right? So, I was in the military. We had a guy in the corner. He was a sergeant. You'd go to his office. He was the most famous sergeant at our unit. Do you want to know why? He had 2,000 cassettes of any porn you wanted. So Friday night, Saturday night, I'm coming back from the gym. All I'm hearing is, you're hearing the sound in the corner. And he's blasting it. So all these 18-year-olds are coming to his room to watch it. And he's 32 years old, E5. Let me tell you what I've collected over the years. He was a legend, right? And it's to himself, I have the best stuff back nowadays, right here.
It's right there.
And then think what AI is going to do on whatever crazy situation you want. What impact does that have when a boy watches it or a man watches it?
When I was a kid, in order to see porn, you can get the magazines or you'll be at a wealthy friend's house and they had some videos. But it was a rare opportunity to see it. The proliferation of it today, I don't know how you avoid it. Like for me, I still have to be careful. I try and make sure that my phone, my computer, and all of that is inside of the casita and not near my bed if I'm away from my family, because you still have the desire to go back and to watch it. And I was, wow, who was I talking to? What is his name, honey? God, and I love him. I'm having a senior moment. He played Hop. He was the voice in Hop.
The bunny?
Yes, the voice in Hop. Not him, but the actual voice.
Russell Brand?
Russell Brand.
Okay.
I was talking to Russell Brand, and I remember saying to him, I still watch porn periodically.
He's saying that, or yours?
I said that to him, and he was like, what? He was like, you really should research that. You really should research what's taking place with that. And when I did the research and considered would I want my child in that position, when I put it back to that, when I put it back to it, then you're like, you take a moment, if you can catch yourself. But if once you start going, once you've gotten on that train, it's over. Once you've turned on a computer, it's over. So for a man, it's a lot of self-control. So I have to make sure none of this stuff is around. And mind you, I didn't masturbate until I was 25 years old, only because my father was so staunch about manhood, and I'm like sitting there thinking, this is a man's hand touching my penis. That's homosexual. If I'm getting off rubbing.
Your dad told you if you masturbate, it's a man's hand touching.
Yeah, and so for me, I didn't masturbate for the first time until I was 25 years old. And
okay, listen, people. I think sometimes when you hear such things, it's like, okay, what are they talking about? This is so explicit. This is not supposed to be a conversation. But I'm telling you, it's a big conversation right now because so many young people are into this stuff. So many young people are struggling with pornography. So many young people are addicted to sexual content. So many young people are doing things in secret and they can't seem to let go. Are you hearing what I'm saying? This is not a small issue. This is a big deal. And so you have to understand that what he's saying here is that you can see someone is saying that you need to talk about pornography and how to overcome it. And you can see so many people struggle. Even Terrence himself is saying that he's actually struggling with it. This is big, man. Let's continue to listen to this.
I wish that I had maintained that.
Like for a second, you went back to the first time you went there.
Yeah, I was in Czech Republic. I was in Prague.
You remember it?
Yeah, I was inside the hotel and I had watched porn before, but I just would watch it. And this was the first time that I actually went there. And then I had them remove the television out of the room of the hotel. I was shooting Hearts War because I couldn't stop. I kept watching it. And I was like, oh, wow. So pushing the easy button.
Czech Republic.
And you get
shout out to Czech.
you get caught into it. So even at 57 years old, I have to be careful and to check myself. So that rule number 5, respect yourself. Respect yourself. And I sit there and think about, what Maximus, be sitting off in a cell doing that, from Gladiator. I'm like, because I loved who he was, and I put that into my head. I try to.
Is that really what you would do?
Yeah, I'd sit there and think about
Would Maximus masturbate in jail?
would
From
Maximus
Gladiator?
would the people that I look up to, did Socrates,
Wow.
was Socrates involved in that? And if there are,
If for a believer, would Jesus actually be involved in this? Would the Apostle Paul be involved in this? What about Peter? Are these people going to do such things? So the people you look up to, Bible characters, people who walked with God to a certain level, would they do such things? You understand what I'm saying?
I know that I don't necessarily believe about angels and things of that nature, but I know that there's other dimensional beings, because there's other temporal dimensions. Things are moving at a different rate, a different pace, and based upon the individual that came and shared all that knowledge with me about the science, I'm like, okay, are they looking at me like I look at my dog when he's licking himself? Is that who I am? And if I could, would I do what my dog is doing? So I compare it like that, and it helps to pull me back.
How promiscuous were you at your peak?
Oh, at my peak, I was dating about 4 or 5 girls, that I would go and hang out with,
Was it interchanging
This is the conversation I wanted us to focus on, where they're going right now.
or same?
I would meet new girls. We would meet new girls all the time.
I asked the question because did you ever go on a run where for like a 5-year period, 10-year period, it was just...
I explored my dark side. I did the Carl Jung thing. I explored and embraced my shadow, and then you realize you have to get to your lowest point. And that lowest point was sitting there watching porn, and starting to use my gift of gab to talk girls into doing those things.
At what age did you realize you had that? How early?
Well, that didn't start.
Famous, or that was...
It was about in my 30s.
On your 30s?
In my 30s.
What was the first time you had a sexual encounter with a girl?
I was 4. That was different. I was 4. It was the older girls that were watching me, and they were like 6 and 7, and so that changed.
Did you say 4 years?
You have to understand, he was 4 years of age the first time he actually had a sexual encounter. And it was because there were certain 6 and 7-year-old girls who were actually babysitting him. And they're the ones who actually started to take advantage of him at that age. That's what I want us to talk about. Let's continue listening.
4 years old.
With 6 and 7-year-old girls?
Yeah. And we did that every day until I was like 13.
Every day up to the age of 14.
Had more sex then than I've had in my adult life. So my expectation for interaction was always those things.
I'm still confused. You said 4 years old?
4 years old.
And they were 6 or 7?
6 and 7.
Were they Muslims?
No. This is
Because I'm thinking your father with...
Yeah, my father wouldn't have known, but when you're not supervised...
And you guys are just fooling around at...
We're just fooling. We played hide and go get. Pants up, pants down. That was my experience. And I'm like, I look at my sons 8 and 9 now. No, 9 and 10 now. And I can't imagine them getting involved in that, but I lost my innocence. It's effectively being molested. But then you have this...
But not grown girls, 6 and 7-year-old girls.
They were 7. They were about 2 years older than me and my brother.
How long did that last?
Up until we were like 13. But all the kids in the neighborhood was doing that.
Oh, this is a neighborhood thing. You guys are just not playing and you're doing this.
And we played hide and go get.
What neighborhood was this?
This is in Cleveland, Ohio.
Wow. Wow.
30th and Central.
Who's watching over you? Are you living with mom and dad's in prison?
My dad's in prison. My dad had just gotten out of prison, but then he's at work all the time, and trying to hustle a job because it was hard to get a job after that. And then my mother's in school. So, and I didn't know, it felt like it was wrong, but I didn't know.
Mom never
that it was wrong. No, I wish.
So you have to understand that, I think it's also important for you to realize that sometimes when kids are left unsupervised, these are the products of it, where they begin to engage in things that parents are not aware of. Imagine at that age losing your innocence, beginning to engage in these things. How broken can you be in your adulthood? Man, think about that. The dad is looking for work. He just got out of prison. At the same time, the mom is chasing her own dream because she wants to be an achiever. And the kids are left neglected. And the next thing you know is they are broken because of the encounters they're having. Left unsupervised, man. Left unsupervised. Oh my God.
They did. I wish they did. I wish I'd.
And the thing is he talks about how it felt wrong, but I didn't know it was wrong. So it means he had no concept of morality. He had no conscience around these things because they were never taught to him. The Bible teaches us that teach a child in the way he should go, and when they are older, they will not depart from it. That means there is a way that you teach a child that builds their conscience. They are able to make moral decisions even at a young age. They're able to discern this is evil, this is good. They're able to discern right from wrong. In that way, if they end up doing wrong, it will be because they have to fight against their very nature. Why? Because you train them. And so when there's no concept of morality in a child, oh my God, no supervision. My God.
Never done that. I would probably have been a completely different person, but it gave me an askewed view of interaction. I kept thinking that, everybody was promiscuous like that. So by the time I get 16, 17, I've done enough to where I'm starting now, the spiritual side of me is starting to show up, but then I slipped back into it at 25, and for 25 to 30 something, was still trying to be a Jehovah's Witness, but still having this urge taking place, and the bad things I had learned from my uncles and all of that influencing me. And it takes you a long time to try and get back to who and what you really, really are. But yeah, that really messed me up. That
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of different people. No one's ever told me they had more sex between 4 to 13 than you're saying any other.
than I've had in my entire adult life.
Stop.
Because there's no orgasm, until you're about 12, 13. So
And when you're saying sex, you're saying intercourse.
yeah, we had intercourse. Was having intercourse at 4.
How did I mess you up as an adult later on?
Well, because you think about the innocence of a child and having to deal with those adult circumstances and situations, you're not mentally prepared for it. So now I'm so super protective of my children, of other people's children. I'm like, when we have a friend come and visit and they've got an infant, I'll secure the whole house and put pillows everywhere. I'm just overly protective because I wanted somebody. I'm trying to protect me. My kids are never alone. They are never alone without at least 2 people watching them, just because I don't want what happened to me to ever happen to them.
What a perspective. So if somebody who is not, probably nothing happened to them, so they think automatically everybody is safe. But for you, since it happened to you, you're always paranoid of what could happen.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't, when I was 13, you couldn't trust me with your daughter because I thought the way the interaction was, there's this play that we do,
So you can actually see that that loss of innocence at a young age left him broken. Even the way he viewed interactions with the opposite sex, it was always around lust. It was always around sexual interactions. It means his social understanding had not been built in a healthy way. That's a broken human being. Every time he interacts with the opposite sex, he's thinking sex. He's thinking this is how you relate to the opposite sex. There is no healthy acquaintance. There is no healthy connections or communities. So he was broken as a human being. That means even his development was hampered. His social development. Psychologically, he was not the same. You can actually see, even when he talks about other parts of his life, you can see that he was lost, looking for meaning in so many other places. And I believe that even his addiction to pornography was rooted in his early exposure to sexual encounters like that. That's terrible, man. That can mess up a child. And now he's protective of his kids, and rightly so. That's why sometimes into like as sometimes you think about sending your kids to relatives when you don't even know the environments those relatives have created. You send your kids to relatives who have their own kids, and you think that everything is okay. But you don't know what they will be doing, what suggestions they will put in the minds of your kids. And so it's terrifying, man. Aish.
No, I didn't pull myself fully together until I was about maybe 15. About 15, I started seeing where I could head to. Because there was a girl that I wanted to marry, and I loved her. I loved this girl. And she wanted to have sex, and I didn't want to have sex. This was like 14. I just started studying the Bible and really coming around to who I would ultimately become. And she ended up having a train ran on her by my friends, because I didn't want to have sex with her. I didn't know she was a freak. I didn't know that she was trying to be free like this. So it was stuff.
You don't know her reputation.
No, she didn't have a reputation at the time, but she was ready to explore.
So the train had happened or had?
No, it happened.
She's thinking about it.
It happened after, because I wouldn't do something with her. So that's what I'm saying. I would have the ones that I loved, I didn't want to touch. The ones that were special, I didn't want to touch. But I was treating other people's child. Yeah, like, oh, well, she's not somebody I want to marry or anything.
Did any father ever find that and come and get you and want to be?
I wish they did.
A brother, nothing?
I wish they did.
Really?
No, because they were brothers.
What would be the number? Like, how many girls would you say from 4 to 13?
Oh, at least 100.
Oh, God. Look at Patrick Bet David's face, man. That's what I want you to understand, man. Brokenness comes in so many ways. You meet an adult like that who has gone through such brokenness, you begin to see that it messes them up. I think that innocence of a child, man. You hear of cases like Donnie McClacken, who actually was molested as a young boy, and he struggled with gay tendencies up to now, still struggling. And you talk about these teachers who sleep with a 12-year-old boy and get pregnant by them. What is the world going to, man? It's terrible when you see that innocence of a child. Once a child loses their innocence, it wrecks them for life. This is terrible, man. Let's just watch a small part and then I'll cut the video. It's becoming too
long. At least 100.
100.
From 4 to 13, at least 100.
100.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness!
And you don't want. It's not something that you.
No, I don't.
You're sitting there looking at your life like, wow. So that's what made a difference for me when I got older. I didn't want, when I would be next to these people, I knew that feeling of taking that walk. A lot of people didn't explore sexuality enough to where they had an opportunity, to sow their wild oats at that earlier age. But it's how the government has been set up to where the father and the mother are not at home. There's no caretakers looking after, the most important part of the family anymore.
At that time when that's going on, would you?
So when you think about it, he mentions a very good point to saying that's how things are right now. There's no parent supervision in the home. Having a maid or a help is not the same thing as parents actually parenting. The mother is not around. The dad is not around. Everybody's busy building their own things. This is what happens. You leave the kids into the hands of people who don't really have as much of a sense of responsibility as the people who actually brought them into this world. Instead of actually being there to look after them, to supervise them, you leave a child and they're broken. They make choices that leave them broken. Man, this is terrible. I think I'll stop the video right here. But anyways, like the video, guys, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And make sure you leave your comment in the comment section below to talk to me. Well, what do you think about this stuff, man? It's real. It's real. So thank you so much. Until next time, have a good one.